welcome back to the third and final webinar in our manufacturing webinar series. If you have watched the first two and you're still with us, thank you very much for joining. I hope that over the last two sessions you have gained a much sort of better understanding of Monday.com and how it works, and that you're feeling really confident and capable to start building out your boards. You've got some ideas of potential workflows that you can set up. Maybe you're tracking things on Excel and you've got an idea of how you can bring that onto Monday. So I hope that you have and you feel like you have learned a few new things about the platform. I think just a recap, obviously, so far what we've gone through in the first session was really looking at the Monday basics, breaking it down into all the different building blocks. So your workspaces and your boards, your items and your columns and your automations, and how those kind of all fit together, and how, you can set up your boards in the way that you need. Then in our second session, the more advanced training, we looked at building what we covered in session one, but with a bit more detail. So looking at how you can connect different boards together, how you can mirror information, how you can trigger or use automations and workflows to trigger items being created on new boards, going through workflows and setting up those kind of multi-conditional automations as well, and then setting up some reporting with our main overview dashboard. So I know at the end of the last session, I said that we're going to be going through mostly Monday AI kind of tips and tricks and how you can use that to further elevate your workflows. So we are going to do that. There's just one thing that I want to touch on before we go into that, which is looking at permissions. I didn't have time to touch on it in the advanced training session, but it is such an important piece of functionality that Monday has that I didn't want to just leave it out. So I'm quickly going to just touch on permissions and how you can set those up for your boards. And then I'll dive into Monday AI Sidekick, Vibe, and agents. So with regards to permissions, I think one of the really cool things about Monday is that you can set up your permissions and really tailor them at every level. So you can set up workspace permissions, which I know I did go through in the first session. So if we go and just recap on that, we go through to the manage workspace and then permissions. Oh, I'm going to just refresh that. Apologies, don't know what happened there. We've got your permissions for the different types of users that you can have in your workspace, and looking at how you can kind of tailor that in a really specific way to go and pick and choose exactly what you want someone to be able to do and to see. So the next side of it is looking at permissions on a board level. So if you navigate through to the top right-hand corner of your screen to click on the invite button, you can see currently I'm the only person that has access. Before I go ahead and I invite a new person, I'm actually going to go through and show you the different user roles that you can assign someone and how you can edit those. So we're going to go through to edit permissions. And you can see we've got our editor, our contributor, our assigned contributor, and our viewer. And for every one of those permissions, you can go on items, sub-items, general, updates. So every kind of aspect that we've been through, columns, updates, groups, and views, you can actually go and choose exactly what you want the user to be able to see. So for example, if we go to contributor, here you can see, okay, maybe we want to go look at the update section. So you don't want them to be able to delete items. So you want to have that audit trail. You want to be able to see all those updates that are posted, and you don't want anyone to be able to have the option to delete their update. So you can toggle that off. Or if we go through to our column section, a contributor, this is kind of preset. So it's worth mentioning for a few of the roles, there are some kind of pre-required or preset permissions that you can't change, just in the nature of the role, but you are able to create a few. So you can see here they will be able to do all of these things, but then you can go and choose out of this selection what you want them to be able to do and not do. What's really nice, I think, especially about an assigned contributor, is people can have a lot of access into what they're doing, but you can manage it. I'm just going to close and discard. You can manage it by this person column. So an assigned contributor, you can go and you can say, okay, they'll only be able to edit what's been assigned to them, or they'll only be able to see what's been assigned to them, or they'll only be able to delete items that have been assigned to them. So you can kind of go through and still give people that edit functionality, because obviously you do want them to be able to, or potentially you might want them to be able to have some level of edit access, but you might not want them to mess with anyone else's stuff. So that's quite nice. Okay, perfect. So I think that covers it in terms of permissions. It was something that I did just want to touch on. And I think now we can dive into the AI portion of Monday.com. And I think it's one of the things that makes Monday so powerful is the fact that it's an AI platform. So there's AI embedded in every aspect of your work. With Monday Sidekick, with Monday Vibe, and with Monday Agents, which are the three components that we're going to be going through today, you can set those up to run your workflows in the background. You can get summaries of information on a board without having to sift through all the information. You can even set up custom apps to perform actions for you and to log information. So I'm going to start off with Monday Vibe, and Monday Vibe is essentially Monday.com's app builder. So using plain language prompts and instructions, you can give it an instruction of an app that you would like, and it will do all the coding for you in the background. You can link it to your specific boards that you want, and all build this app out. It doesn't require any integrations. It doesn't require any APIs, keys, or any type of coding. It's as simple as you putting in your instruction, connecting your boards, and sending that instruction through. So keeping with the theme of manufacturing, we're going to be using our Vibe app in the inventory and warehouse management example. So if we, 2 seconds, I just want to make sure that my mic, just to make sure the sound quality is good. So apologies for that pause. So with this app that we're going to be building, I'm going to look at building a stock intake management app that integrates with the existing Monday.com boards. So I've got a prompt here on my other screen that I'm going to paste it in, and then I'll walk you through what I'm hoping it will be able to do for us. So I'm just going to copy it here. It's quite a long prompt, but I do want to make sure that I've got all the information that we need. Almost there. Sorry, I just need to make sure. Okay, perfect. So I've got all my requirements. I've copied the prompt and I've pasted it. So I'm not going to read you through the whole thing, whilst you're just going to be listening to me talk for a very long time. But essentially, the purpose of this app is to have an interface where someone can go and track new deliveries that are coming in through to the factory. So we've gone through the kind of purchase order. So now our purchase order has been sent out to the supplier, the invoicing, the quoting, all of that has kind of gone through. The delivery's been placed, and now the delivery needs to be tracked. So instead of having someone potentially have the delivery intake and then send an email saying this stock has now arrived and then giving it to someone else who now has to go fill it on the Monday board, you can create this app that's going to do it all for you. So the main kind of components of this app are main stock intake screen. It's going to have a place where you can track what inventory item you're tracking it against, the supplier, the quantity delivered, the date, whether it was on time or not. It's going to have some reporting as well as a delivery history tab and a supplier performance tab. So looking at late deliveries, total deliveries by supplier, and worth mentioning that it's also going to be linked to the supplier board, which is a new addition from our previous 2 sessions. So it's as simple as putting in your prompt, Then we're going to go and connect the boards that we want it to interact with and pull information from and send information to. So it's going to be our supply board and our inventory and warehouse management. And we're going to connect. Just on that, you can connect up to 5 boards. And now I'm going to start building. So while we are waiting for this to build, it does take a few minutes. So instead of just sitting and waiting, I'm going to move on to the next piece, which is our Monday Sidekick. So Monday Sidekick, you can access via this tab over here, or you can access it directly from any board that you're in. So it's going to be this little colorful star on the bottom right-hand corner. And if we click on that, it kind of opens up a little chat. And basically what Monday Sidekick is your Monday assistant. So it acts as a personal AI assistant that's embedded in your monday.com workspace. It's a context-aware digital assistant that has been designed to streamline your work and automate your tasks. It combines advanced AI models, so it works with ChatGPT, Claude, kind of a multitude. So you're not just relying on one particular model, you have multiple running in the background. In addition to that, though, it also has your full monday.com context. So it has insight into your inventory, it has insight into your purchases, your suppliers, your equipment. So it's like a ChatGPT, just with so much more context. And this kind of then allows it to proactively assist with any tasks. It can generate insights and it can automate repetitive work. It can also help you build new items or add in information onto your board. So over here, for example, I'm going to go to my main table. You can ask it to summarize information. You can ask it to create reporting for you. You can ask it to organize items for you and even extract information. So the options are very limitless in terms of what you are able to do. So I'm going to start off with a super simple prompt. I'm just going to say, please, can you extract all the items sitting in new requests that are critical? And then we're going to send. So in this case, I don't have too many items on my board, so I can very easily just go and see, okay, we've got these ones that are uncritical, but in real life, you'd probably be working with a much larger data set. So to have to read through all of that information to try and find what you're looking for, it's going to take a lot of time. So you can just ask Sidekick to read through the information for you and extract the information you need. Perfect. So here we've got found 3 critical items, and it's going to give us all the examples. We can click on it and it will take you directly through in a new tab. Another example, which maybe is more beneficial, especially in the case of trying to analyze, a wealth of data, is please can you summarize from most to least. I don't know if that's the right way to say it. Please can you give me a list for maintenance requests by machine or by equipment from most to least. And we're going to send that through. So we have created reporting to do that for us, which is in that pie chart, if you remember from our previous session. But this is also a nice way while you're in it, if you're in a meeting and you want to just see kind of how many times you can see, yes, steam press is 3, it's not too many times, but in a real life example, it might be 20 times or 25 times versus 10 times of number 2. So then you get that insight into things are coming in frequently for steam press. We need to, replace the machine, or we need to schedule it in for a proper full service to make sure these breakdowns don't keep happening. Then I'm going to do maybe some reporting. So I'm going to say, please generate a visual report for me to give a good overview of all the requests sitting in the board at the moment. So in some cases, I don't know if it will do it in this one, it might actually ask you a clarifying question. So it might say, would you like this? Would you like this? Or this is what I'm thinking of doing. Are you okay with that? And then you just say yes, and then it will perform the action for you. It's just thinking. What's really cool is you can also actually read the whole thought process. So if you want to see how it's gotten to that conclusion, you can have a read through there, which is quite nice. Taking a few seconds while we wait. I'm going to see what our Monday vibe. Fantastic. So our vibe is ready, which is nice. So we can move on to that as the next item. I think this might be taking a while because it's generating images. So I might not hang around too much here, just in the interest of time. But yeah, the point that I want to get across is you can kind of ask it to do anything for you. You can, if in the example maybe of suppliers, you are onboarding 3 new suppliers, you have all of the supplier information, you can go through, upload even a document. So if it's on an Excel or if it's on a PDF, or you just have a list maybe via email, you can paste that in here. You can attach files and you can say, these are the 5 new suppliers that I want to onboard. Please, can you add them to my board? So then you'll update that and it will automatically create those items for you and fill in all the information. Yeah, I think it's going to take a bit too long for us to say, oh, there we go, never mind. Awesome. So now I'm going to download this and see what it gives us. I'm going to open that up. And we've got this awesome dashboard that's been created. So we've got how many requests have come through, what's in critical, what's in progress, what's been completed, a nice breakdown, emergency planned. And all that I said was, please give me a breakdown of everything that's sitting in this board. And it's generated this really cool kind of interactive dashboard, which I think is awesome. Perfect. So now moving back to Monday Vibe. So it's gone through my request, it's read my prompt, and then you can see here, this is the sort of thinking that it's gone through. And this is what we've now come out with. So we've got our stock intake, and it should have all of the different items on our stock board. We've got all of the different suppliers as well. We can put in the quantity, we can pick a date, whether it was on time or not, and then we can submit that delivery. So currently this app is sitting in drafts. So if I wanted to publish this and I wanted everyone to have access, I would need to publish it. So I'm going to go and say, publish. Why can I not publish? Okay, so I can't actually publish, which for some reason, give me 2 seconds. I should be able to publish. Okay, I think what's happened is I have too many apps, but I don't know why. But anyway, we can actually still use this. We're just going to use it in the draft version, and it will still give you a good idea of what it would look like, because we can still look at the board. So if we go to the boards here, we've got our inventory board. Oh. And we've got our supplier board. So we're just going to work within this draft interface just so we don't lose any time. But if we go back to the preview, I'm going to go and say, let's add in something. So we're going to add, I just want to double check on this board. We go to inventory and warehouse. Okay, so our current stock for stretch denim is 0. So I'm going to go ahead and log a delivery for that. So I'm going to look for stretch denim. I'm going to say that it's that supplier. Quantity delivered, I'm going to say 400. Date 23rd. On time delivery, no. And I'm not going to leave any delivery notes, and I'm going to submit the delivery. Perfect. So that should be submitted. We go to delivery history. We've only got one entry, but nice way to just see what that would look like. This is the supplier performance, rating, needs improvement, inventory insights, and we've got kind of the breakdown of all the deliveries. If we go back here and we refresh, it should have posted an update. Say stock delivery received, supplier, quantity, on time, no. What I am noticing though is this current stock number has not increased. So we want to actually go and fix that. So I'm almost glad that it hasn't worked, and I can show you how easy it is to go and start discussing with Vibe and say, okay, this is not working. Please, can we tweak this? Say, I've noticed that the current stock level is not increasing with my delivery. Can you fix? Any number needs to go to the current stock column. And then we're going to put that through. If we go through to our supplier board as well, one of the portions that I put into the Vibe prompt was to also post an update on the supplier board. So my hope is I'm going to do a few examples, and then we're going to use Sidekick again to actually see by typing in, please can you give me a breakdown of all the suppliers and who's the most on time and who's always coming in with late deliveries, to then give you the information if you need to go and speak to your suppliers if they keep on having delayed deliveries. You can see here it's had a thought for 6 seconds, and it has decided that it knows what to do. So let's give it another go. So we're going to do stretch denim again because it's easy to see. We're going to choose a different supplier. I'm going to put in 200, pick a date, 25, and on-time delivery. Submit. So now if we go through to delivery history, you can see it's updated. Supplier performance, excellent. Inventory insights also has increased for June. Now if we go and we refresh, I actually do think while we're waiting, I can, even though my app is still in drafts, I can come through and just see if it's here. Perfect. So I'm going to move this to my new workspace. And then we can actually work with it in real time in my workspace. Awesome. So we're going to go back to the inventory, and you can see amazing. So that one little prompt, just say, I've noticed that it isn't actually picking it up, please fix. It knows exactly what to do. It can relook at its code and relook at what it's built and accordingly go and adjust whatever it's built in the background. So if we come through here, we've got the breakdown, which is really cool. And if we go back to supplier board, then it's posted the update here as well. So you can see how, I mean, this was quite a simple example. I did pre-prep the prompt before the webinar, but it took like 5 to 10 minutes to generate this app, just to show you what it looks like here. If we go to Intake Pulse, even though it hasn't been published, I can still look at it, but if someone else was to come in and log into the Vibe app or log into Monday, they wouldn't be able to see it. But now also, if you wanted to, you could come through and you could say, I would actually like a brighter design. Please, can you change the coloring? Please, can you make it a white background or a blue background? You can really customize it to show exactly how you need it to, which I think is really cool. Okay, perfect. So now the last piece of AI that I want to show you guys today is looking at AI agents. So AI agents is a relatively new release, but I think one of the most powerful and the most exciting that Monday has released over the last while. So with AI agents, you can actually get a digital assistant or this digital agent to complete tasks for you in the background where those tasks can be standardized. Obviously, a lot of qualitative tasks, it might be tricky to get an agent to do that for you because to a large extent you need kind of human intervention. But what you can use for an agent for is the more qualitative stuff where you can really standardize the set of instructions. And by doing that, that then gives you more time to focus on the qualitative stuff, whereas your attention and your time would have kind of been separated out by the two things before that. So the agent that I'm going to do and create with you guys today is an automated procurement and inventory management agent. So what this agent is going to do is identify reorder requirements. So looking at that reorder column, going to the supplier list, selecting the most appropriate supplier. And how it's going to select the most appropriate supplier, it's going to look at the updates for how on time they've been. It's going to look at the rating. It's also going to look at obviously what stock that they have been used for previously. So if we go through to our supplier board, you have the products supplied. So obviously you don't want to suggest a supplier for knitted fabric that doesn't have knitted fabric. And then it's going to go and create an item that on your purchase order management board, which we have also been looking at. In our previous example, the purchase order management was looking at automatically creating the item here when the stock changed to low stock. But with this agent, it can actually just constantly read, look at the information and also recommend a supplier, which is going to pop through over here. And it will suggest a reorder quantity based on the current stock levels and the reorder quantity level. So I'm going to copy this in. Just getting my prompt. And I think the key with agents, just as a bit of a tip, is to be as comprehensive as possible. So I think the agents are amazing and they can do wonderful things, but you need to give them really, really clear instructions so they know exactly what they need to do. Also, what they shouldn't be doing. So we're going to paste in my instruction. I'm not going to read it through to you all, but just to read the first bit. It says you are an API procurement and inventory management agent responsible for monitoring stock levels, identifying reorder requirements, selecting the most appropriate supplier, and then creating procurement records. And the one item that I didn't mention is I've also asked it if it can try and generate a purchase order document. So if we go through to this board, we have this file column, but I've added in a link column for an HTML online link. So we're going to see if it can actually go and generate that item or that document for us just with the first bits, and I'm going to add in a screenshot of what I want the purchase order format to look like. So I'm going to paste this in. I'm going to attach my screenshot. I'm going to add, it needs to look at the inventory. I think I'm going to do this at a later stage. Okay, so we're going to then go through build the agent. Will take a few seconds, but when you are waiting for this agent to be created, just think of all this time it's going to save you in the long run. Okay, so I'm going to say, I'm going to choose this lady. What's going on here? Just going to refresh my browser. Okay, I'm just going to, apologies for that. I'm going to start again. We're going to add that screenshot. Oh, it's added it up here. And we are going to send that through. Fingers crossed. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to leave it as is, but you can choose your icon. Maybe I'll change it to this lady. And change my background color to yellow. And I'm going to say on board. So we scroll down. So you can see in this instance, I really have kind of gone very far in terms of what information I've given it. What's really nice though is, and I'll show you an example, you can give this agent your instructions, but you can also then ask it, are you missing any information? What other information do I need to give you? So it's going to break down exactly what it's going to do. So from its understanding of what you've given it, these are the actions that it's going to perform. And I'm going to say, hi, Lauren, from what I've given you, is there any outstanding information you require? Something I want to mention is it needs to work with the inventory and warehouse management board, the supplier board, and the purchase order management board. And we're going to send that through and see what she says. While we wait for her to think, see, very quick. We're going to go and she's pulled up the most relevant board. So we're going to say, yes, we want this one. While we are waiting, you can also, so here's the instructions, which is nice. You can edit them at any time. And then over here for knowledge and access, so we're going to add here the supplier board and here the inventory and warehouse management board. You can also attach any files. So I'm going to just click here and make double sure she is seeing this screenshot. You can add in a website as well. So if there is additional context, any skills, any kind of information, documentation, SOPs that you use that you need them to have reference to in the background, you can attach them and then it will look through all of that documentation while it is going through the process. So now we've got all this information and I'm hoping we're going to run it and see if it works. If not, we're going to come back to the drawing board, ask how we need to fix it, and then she's going to be able to tell us. So if we go back to here and we go to our inventory board and current stock. Okay, so what I'm hoping, I just want to make sure it's not too many requests at one time. So I think I'm going to just change this to 60, not that you wouldn't be able to handle it, but just so we can actively track what's coming in. Okay, so we've got that one. Okay, so I think that's fine. So now we're going to say, please, can you run now? Two boards need to still be connected. Okay, let me just go and connect those ones. And then we'll connect our supplier board as well. Cool. So we want to make sure that she can make changes. So you can see what's really nice is even if you're worried you're not going to be able to give accurate instructions, at every point this agent is going to be able to tell you what they still need, ask for the right access. You can double check with them if you haven't written anything correctly. So it's really kind of a back and forth to make sure you are getting that agent and getting the most value out of that agent that you can. Okay. Let's just read through. So inventory and warehouse management, she's got all that she needs. Perfect, perfect. Text is fine. Run now. Perfect. So she is starting to work on that in the background. I'm going to close this. And we're going to head on over to the purchase order management board. And she's created one. Just go back. Amazing. Okay, great. So all of these items, they did not have the right unit. The reorder quantity has been put in here. The PO, not sure how this is where this is generating from. And then we've got our name. The supplier hasn't been connected. So if we go back to our inventory and warehouse management, my suspicion, there we go. So what's happened here is we don't actually have a connect board, which she did pull out for me, or she did highlight for me. So we're going to go through to our supplier board. We are going to go and add a connect column. And you're very familiar with these because we have covered them in our previous session. So I'm going to go through to inventory and warehouse management. And don't need a mirror column. And I'm going to come in here and just go select a few items. Just so you can see the, I also want to do a double up so we can see if her recommendation is working correctly. Okay, so I'm not going to do it for the whole set, but I'm going to go back here and I'm going to rerun it. And hopefully I'm going to kind of refine the instruction a bit and see how that works. So the next thing is going to be, I have now added a connect column, connecting supplier. Please can you use this to recommend a supplier in the supplier column? And let's see what she says. And I know this is kind of me working through it with you, but what I want to show you is how user-friendly and how easy it is. I think sometimes to a lot of people, AI is this thing that's kind of just coming at you and everyone's using it and it can feel a bit overwhelming. But it really is so user-friendly, so easy to use, and gives you all the information you need and kind of will even walk with you step by step to get to where you need to be. So we need the name. Let me go back. So that's the password. And I'm going to go here. Go. Okay, fantastic. So now she knows, let's say yes, run now. I did also notice that the HTML link didn't generate, which is something I'm sure next we could kind of go and say, link isn't generating, what more information do you need from me? And then she would tell us. I'm not going to dive in too much because I think this is giving you a pretty good idea of how to use it and how to work with it. And while we wait as well, I think the AI works off of a credit basis. So you have a bundle of credits you purchase for your account, and then the agent would use up those credits with the actions that it's completing for you. How many credits get used are based off of the complexity. But if this is something you are interested in, you can always let us know. We do have a credit calculator, so we can put into our system, this is the workflow, this is what you're hoping to do, and then we can tell you kind of an estimate of how many credits you would need for that. So we are going to go back. We're going to refresh. And then we're going to have a look at our purchase order management board. And it still has not added the supplier, which is unfortunate. But like I said, we could always go back and still say it's not working, and I'm sure we'd be able to figure it out with a few extra prompts. So that is it for tips and tricks. I hope that some of the AI things that I've showed you have given you a few ideas, and there's some excitement about different ways that you can use them. And I hope, over the course of these 3 sessions that you are walking away feeling a lot more enabled and a lot more confident on the ins and outs of Monday and how you can start using it to kind of the best of your ability and to get the most value out of it. So thank you for joining for all 3 if you have. Yeah, thank you very much. Bye.